Hi, it's Caitlin and I'm here with my June polish pickup video, and the theme for this month is cartoons. The shop will be opening on Friday, June 7th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then the pre-order window will close on the 10th, just before midnight, like 11:59. And these polishes are exclusive to the polish pickup, so if you want them, grab them now because you probably won't get a chance to purchase them again in the future. I'll include any further details that I have down in the description, like if there are caps on how many bottles of a certain polish are available. Sometimes there is an unlimited amount available for order, but sometimes there's also a limit. So if anything you like has a limit, do shop early to avoid disappointment. And let's just get into the swatches. Let's start by looking at Bee's Knees Lacquer Evolve Today. This polish is inspired by the game BioShock, and the inspiration is the informative cartoons that explain how to use your plasmids from the video game BioShock. And this is described as a sheer lime green base with glowy orange microflake shimmer. You can see that this one is sheer. It will build up nicely in 3 coats, but if you don't like sheer polishes, you'll probably be better layering this over kind of any color because that would look really cool. Or you could use a visible nail line blurring base coat. The layers do dry quickly, so if you want to build it up in 3 coats, it won't be difficult at all. It won't be difficult to remove either, and you will notice it dries a little bit satiny, so I do recommend a glossy top coat just to make it as shiny as possible. This one is a really interesting polish. I love it so much. I love it in the sun. I love it out of direct light, and I just find it to be really interesting, beautiful, unique, and it just makes me think of sour candies. Here we have Chameleon Nails, and this one is Little Mermaid. This one is obviously inspired by the Little Mermaid, and it's described as being a solar polish, which is a mint green indoors, and it turns to a light purple when outside. It's also filled with orange and pink iridescent flakes. So I guess I stepped outside in between coats, so that's the purple you get when the polish is exposed to UV light. The flakes in here are really beautiful. The formula is really easy to work with, and I really like the Chameleon Nails brush. It's really dense in a good way. It makes it really easy to apply nail polish. I will also recommend 3 coats for this polish just to get as much coverage as you can. It should be opaque for most people in 3. And do top this off with a top coat, but avoid one that has a UV inhibitor. Some top coats have that to prevent yellowing of nails, but if your top coat has that element, and it'll usually marketed that way. I don't know of any indie top coats that are UV inhibitors, but I think there's one at like Sally Beauty that inhibits UV rays. So anyway, if you use a regular top coat, you'll be fine. And I will show this off indoors where you definitely get that minty look, and then you'll see it purple outside, and you do need ultraviolet rays, so it's not going to work unless there's sunshine or if you put your hand underneath a UV gel lamp. This polish is by Dany Vianna, and it is called Hitsuzen. This one's inspired by the manga anime called XXX Holic from Clamp Studios, and the iconic character Ichihara Yuko, who is the Witch of the Dimensions, or the Dimensional Witch. So this is an aqua turquoise crelly base with a strong pink to gold aurora shimmer and pink reflective glitters. This is a really unique polish and color combination. I really like it, and I really like the formula. It's very easy to apply. It covers beautifully in 2 coats, and it is very, very glowy. There are reflective glitters which will add texture, but not so many that it'll be gritty. So 1 layer of top coat will smooth everything out, and this one will just really impress you with the shifts. So this is using my camera flash. You can see the reflective glitters. They're nice and sparse in there, so they're not adding too much texture. And here you can see it without camera flash, how it's going to look to the naked eye. This polish is Great Lakes Lacquer Trap of Love, and this one is inspired by Mystery Incorporated, specifically Daphne as Crush. I don't have many points of reference for any of these polishes so far, but this looks like the picture that Mariah showed me, and it's described as a blackened violet featuring a red to orange to gold shifting shimmer and holographic microflake. You'll note that this is extremely opaque, very pigmented, very sparkly, and very shifty. I do recommend a base coat with this just in case you experience any staining. I didn't in the time that I was swatching it, but it is super pigmented. So do use a base coat if you're prone to staining, and do use a glossy top coat to just further enhance the shine and let everything glow together. It is such a stunning polish. If you love vampire shades, do not skip this one. Next up is Phoenix Indie Polish Psionic, and this one is inspired by the stunning Psylocke and her iconic Psionic blade. So this is a grayish base with intense violet to red shimmer and silvery magnetic sparkles. I am going to show this unmagnetized on my index finger and then with a magnet stripe on my middle. I just think it looks best that way. You maybe could do this as more of a velvet effect, but I think it works a little better just with the regular magnetic stripe or design, whatever you prefer. And even if you don't magnetize it, as you can see, the magnetic pigment gives like a really pretty sparkle. And this is also really shifty. I just think Phoenix probably makes the best gray polishes, and I absolutely love this one. I was happy with it in 2 coats. It had really good coverage, and it did dry a little bit dull, so obviously use a top coat. Next up is Penélope Luz Soulmates, and this one is inspired by the characters Sakura Kinomoto and I think it's Savaran. My eyes, I need to get glasses. Well, I have glasses, I just never wear them. I think it's Cyaran. Apologies, I didn't look up how to pronounce that. Anyway, it's from the anime called Sakura, and the nail polish has a blurple base with an aurora pink to gold to green pigment. It is a very beautiful sort of crelly base. It has great opacity in 2 coats. This will cover, I think, for everybody in 2 coats. And I will recommend a glossy top coat because it does dry down a bit satiny. So you can see this is really beautiful and very sparkly in the sunlight. Bluebird Lacquer has created MEOWZA, which is a lavender pink jelly with a gold to yellow to green to purple to pink shifting shimmer, and it's inspired by Gary the Snail. This is the first SpongeBob cartoon inspired polish in my video, and it just makes me so happy because I love SpongeBob SquarePants. Now this has a very opaque, very fluid, very easy to work with formula. It will be opaque in 2 coats, and it's also incredibly shifty. So I wanted to show it off here with the light turned off. You could see it was literally glowing even in the dark. There's a tiny bit of sort of satiny dullness when it dries down, so use a glossy top coat to bring back the shine. And I can't wait for you to see all of the shifts in this beautiful Gary-inspired nail polish. Next up is Sassy Sauce. This one's called Yoo-Hoo, and it's inspired by Smurfette. This one is a glowy blue shimmer with black to blue ultra chrome chameleon flakes, blue to purple ghost flakies, and micro hollow flakies. So this does have a clear base, but the shimmer in it is pretty strong. It has a ton of things going on in it. It would work beautifully as a topper, but I am going to show it built up in 3 coats. So this does build up nicely in 3 coats. It has pretty much full opacity in 3 coats, and it is going to dry down with some texture because of the flakes, but a top coat will smooth everything out. It won't be difficult to remove, and you are going to have a very sparkly, very glowy, very unique, and very blue polish. Here we have Eyed Lacquer, All the Feels, and this one is inspired by Bluey, specifically the Sign episode, and it's described as an indigo crelly with hot pink shimmer and hollow flakes. This has a really beautiful, easy to work with formula, and it's just got like this kind of glow from within vibe to it. I love the hollow. It's so easy to work with, and I'm just a sucker for this color of polish. I really love a purpley, pinky color palette, and that's what's going on here. It does dry down a bit satiny, so do use a glossy top coat to bring back the shine, and yeah, fantastic coverage in 2 coats. So Eyed Lacquer has a cuticle pen available this month too. It is inspired by Unicorse, who I don't know who that is, but in terms of the ingredients, there's jojoba oil, sweet almond oil, vitamin E, apricot kernel, coconut oil, and grapeseed oil. It's very moisturizing, and I do like that sort of push style pen. It's just really easy to work with. So I'm gonna just show how I apply cuticle oil. You don't need a ton. You don't want greasy hands, and a little does go a long way. In terms of the scent for this one, I don't have like a official description of it, but it's very fruity, very sweet, not overly so, like not sickeningly sweet, but it's, yeah, definitely like a fruity candy smell. I really like it. So I rub in my cuticle oil, apply it everywhere, the top of your nail, the tip of your nail, the cuticle line, and applying it regularly does help to strengthen your nail so that you are prone to less breakage. Here we have Clionadh Cosmetics Still No Pickles, and this one is another SpongeBob inspired polish, which just makes me so happy. This is a pickle green. It's got green flakes in there. I think it's also got like a green shimmer. When I filmed this, I didn't have the description, so apologies. There's definitely some sort of like gold happening in there, maybe some hollow, but it is like the most beautiful pickle extravaganza polish of all time. So if you're a fan of greens or pickles or SpongeBob or unique polishes, then definitely don't skip this one. It's got a great formula, really easy to work with. It builds up beautifully, and it's just this wild green, pickle green. And I love the episode that this references from. It's just classic SpongeBob that I love so much. So this polish does have a lot going on. It does have a tiny bit of texture. Top coat will smooth it out. It won't be difficult to remove. And it's just a beautiful polish. What can I say? Here we have Polished for Days, I'm Too Pretty to Mess With. And this one is inspired by the Powerpuff Girls, which is another cartoon that I absolutely loved when I was a kid. And I love seeing this polish. It kind of just like brought back emotion somehow. I don't know why. I guess it was just like a blast from the past. I kind of forgot about Powerpuff Girls. But this one's an aqua base with strong metallic magenta to yellow to green iridescent shifting microflake shimmer. This one builds up really nicely in 2 coats. You might need 3 if you have longer nails, but it has great coverage. There's a ton going on. No, I am going to show it in 3 anyway. So this one is just very magical, very ethereal, but also very glowy and intense. I do recommend a glossy top coat because it does dry a bit dull. And I absolutely love this metallic, shimmery finish. Here we have Glisten Glow Dry and Prep. So this is a unique liquid that dehydrates the nail plate to self-correct the pH balance and prepare the keratin surface for maximum adhesion of base coat and nail polish. So if you're prone to peeling with your nail polish, or if you have very oily nail beds, this is great for you. You just apply it and you can see how my nail kind of dries out instantly. And then you can proceed with base coat application and nail polish. Glisten Glow also has a polish. It's called Thumper, and it's obviously inspired by Bambi's bestie, Thumper. And it's a gray-based polish with taupe undertones, loaded with larger particle shimmers that shift red to orange to pink to gold to green. And it has a left hind foot thump of hollow flakes, which is very cute. And this is a cute little addition from Jill. She said we should all practice Thumper's rule, which is if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. And I think that should apply especially to YouTube video comments. But most of you are all so nice, so thankfully it's definitely the minority. This polish is best built up in 3 coats. It does have that creamy, crelly base, but the shimmer shows up beautifully through it, and the hollow sparkle is a nice addition. And do top this one off with top coat. It will obviously bring out the shine and just make sure your manicure lasts as long as possible. This one is Paint It Pretty Polish Friendship is Magic. It is a purple base with a pink to yellow to blue Aurora shimmer. It's sheer and shifty and gorgeous and glowy. This is the kind of shimmer that I love. And if you still haven't tried Paint It Pretty Polish, I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in you, but I am going to say that this is the perfect time to do it if you like this polish because it's so pretty. This is what I love about the brand. And yeah, it's got a great formula. As you can see, it has that sort of metallic-y shimmer to it. It's really, really beautiful. It builds up beautifully in 3 coats. And I just love a good purple, and this one is fantastic, in my opinion. So it does dry down a tiny bit, satiny dull. Use a glossy top coat, and that will bring out the shine, and then you'll get to see just how shifty this polish is. Is Kathleen & Co. Gravity Falls, and it is a pastel orange base loaded with green to blue shimmer. I think Gravity Falls must be a cartoon because another maker references it, so This polish is very sheer, but it does build up, but it's always going to have a little bit of transparency to it. So again, just like the other sheer polishes, you can layer it. You can use a visible nail line blurring base coat. It has a really smooth and beautiful formula, so you could use it over any color and it would transform it. I love the Kathleen & Co. formula. It's so smooth and even and easy to work with. Builds up beautifully. And I love the brush. I just love the brush so much. So I had very short nails when I was swatching this, but you can still see my free edge at 3 coats, the little bit of it that you can see. But this is super glowy and super shifty. Speaking of glowy and shifty, we have Cuticula Starlight Glimmer. This one is inspired by Starlight Glimmer from My Little Pony. Friendship is Magic. And this is a purple orchid base with a striking green to aqua to blue shifting shimmer. This one is so pretty with that orchid base and the shimmer colors. It's really, really beautiful, very, very shifty, and the shimmer particle in this one is like a tiny bit bigger, so you really get to see it and appreciate it. Whoa, that was a weird pronunciation. Appreciate it in the nail polish base. This one's best built up in 3 coats, and it has a really easy to work with formula, builds up beautifully, and it does dry down a tiny bit satiny, so use a good glossy top coat. I'm using Cuticula Limitless Quick Dry Top Coat, which is pretty much what I used throughout this video for all of my swatches. I believe you can pick a bottle up this month in the polish pickup. Usually there's some scented variety available. If you haven't tried it, please do. It is a fantastic top coat. Here we have Garden Path Lacquer's 1 o'clock Boy Talk, and this one's inspired by Grenda from Gravity Falls. So the inspiration behind this is if you ever wondered what 10-year-old Karen was like, Karen is the maker behind Garden Path Lacquers. She says, probably not, but just stay with me. She said, go watch an episode of Gravity Falls with Grenda in it. A little bigger than the other girls, a little more weird, kind of gruff, boy obsessed, not too sure how much she loves herself, but ready to let go and get it done when it counts. So I guess that is very much like Karen, who she was as a younger person. She said she'll never be as strong as Grenda was, but she'll never stop dreaming. This one's a creamy grape crelly base filled with large particle pink Aurora shimmer. And it's just got these really, really interesting flakes. This looks like an amethyst jewel on your nail. It's very, very sparkly and very, very purple. So I left this one in 2 coats just because there's a lot going on. I have very short nails. I didn't want too much on my nail, but you can see just how sparkly and pretty this polish is. It is really unique. I haven't seen anything like this, and I always love what Garden Path Lacquers makes, and this one's no exception. And last but certainly not least, we have Rogue Lacquer Let's Get Dangerous, and this was inspired by Dark Wing Duck. This is a purple-based magnetic shimmer flake. It has a purple jelly base, glowy blue glass flake, and a red to purple shimmer that is beautiful on its own, but magnetizes to show off the depth of the flakes. So I'm going to show it magnetized a few ways. I'm using it here with a magnetic stripe, which really allows you to see the contrast. It covers beautifully in 2 coats. I do recommend top coat because the flakes have a bit of texture, but it does smooth out with 1 layer of top coat. And then on this finger, I'm going to show it unmagnetized, just so you can see how pretty it is if you're not a fan of magnetic polish. And this one is really, really pretty and shifty, even without the magnet applied. I actually can't decide if I prefer it with or without the magnet. Maybe without? I don't know. I really like it that way. And here on my ring finger, I used my DIY'd horseshoe magnet because I can't actually get a horseshoe magnet. And I think it works pretty well. You can see how pretty and shifty and glowy all of these polish options are, regardless of how you magnetize or not. I feel like there were a lot of purples this month, but maybe that's just my imagination. So my favorite purple out of the bunch was the Paint It Pretty polish. I just absolutely loved the shifts. I love the formula. I love the colors. So that one is one of my top picks. And I also really like the Bee's Knees lacquer. It is so like weird and wonderful. I just really loved wearing it. So definitely check it out if you want something unique, or I don't know, that looks like sour candy. That's what it reminds me of. Let me know in the comments what you think of the polishes I showed off this month. Let me know if any of these are going to make it into your wish list and hopefully onto your fingernails. And I guess that's it for me. Have a great day wherever you are, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.